there is a war going on over at Reddit as moderators are now quitting over the app, not allowing third parties. Um, so I guess many people are calling this a Reddit blackout. Evan, what do you think about this, man?
Yeah, so the biggest thing about third parties is the application programming interface or API. And why does API matter? Let's take a look right here. Third-party developers rely on API data to create their apps, which offer access to features that are unavailable in the official Reddit app, particularly for content moderation and accessibility aids. So what that essentially is saying is Reddit wants to save costs, first of all. Just a quick explanation, really quick, and then we'll get into the thoughts. Because again, we're not the news, but you can look this up if you guys want to. But just a quick explanation. Reddit wants to do this to save costs, obviously, because if third-party apps are taking some profits and taking, some of the data they're taking, they might not like that. And some of their, of course, consumers too, because they might like Reddit, but they like how maybe another app does it better, so they'll go to that instead. Um, I think Reddit can do pretty much whatever. There's kind of the both sides of this argument right away, right? Reddit can do pretty much whatever it wants because they're the big dog, right? They're the most popular app compared to all these third party. But then the argument that the people who would be dissenting from this don't like it would say it's hurting other people. It's hurting the third party apps. They shouldn't do this. They have the power to be inclusive. Why are they not being inclusive? Uh, so Steve Hoffman is the CEO of Reddit. He respects what they're protesting, but he's not going to change. And essentially, just really quick, what Reddit is, and then we'll kind of dive in. Reddit is a social media site. It's kind of like it's kind of with discussion boards, but they call them threads, forums, yada yada. But Reddit specifically calls them subreddits. And you go in and say you look up NFL. There's an NFL topic with all NFL news. You look up I don't know, just news. There's a news topic, or you can look up something really random. There's a lot of, there's subreddits for everything. I think there's over 100,000 subreddits. And that's kind of like how Reddit works. So pause. Let's pause here just really quick. There's more to the story, but pause. I like Reddit personally. I think it's
Mhm.
very interesting, like how many, like I was just explaining, how many different categories you can get in. But this is not unnormal. Like to me, Reddit, I am kind of the cat in the bag. They're very political. They have an agenda. All the people on there. If you go on Reddit, it's obviously very one-sided. That's okay. That's their space. If they feel comfortable to share all their opinions on there, that's fine. But it's obviously very politically motivated. So, are they striking on this? Of course they are. Do they have the right to? Of course they are. But is not anything going to change? No, it's not. So to me, this is just a giant non-story. But it's a very interesting story, which is why I wanted in the technology world, which is why I wanted to bring it to you guys. But in terms of like who's right and who's wrong, this is sort of a non-story. Because the Reddit's going to get what they want. The protesters have the freedom to protest what they want. I have one more pretty important detail, but Jake, just first, I guess general thoughts on the situation. What do you think this is shady business by Reddit, or do you think it's kind of business as usual, like I say?
I think it's just business like usual. I mean, they're trying to control the number of people who are on the website. I think it's just Reddit business as usual. So,
Yeah. So the one more really important detail though is Reddit and particularly Steve Hoffman, the CEO, like I said, is proposing voting out or not CEOs, voting out moderators. Now moderators, I described a little bit about how Reddit works. Moderators keep those subreddits active. So they make sure like trolls, like say if a troll comes in and starts spamming with random content that doesn't have to do, they kick them out, yada yada. So it's a pretty important role. We can't go over that. And moderators aren't paid. You got to keep that in mind. They're volunteer. Some of them have been with those subreddits for years, and so you got to keep that in mind. They do a lot for not paid, but on the other side, they do have a ton of power because they've been there so long. And Steve Hoffman's argument specifically, he quoted this. I don't have the quote, but he said specifically that okay, you want to be politically motivated? All right, let's turn it into politics then. Let's have everyone who views Reddit get to decide should we keep these moderators or vote them out? And if they vote them out, you're gone because you guys have been there so long and you've had one term rule. So he said, okay, that's kind of a boss move by Steve Hoffman. Again, I don't think this is really a right or wrong situation, but he's like, okay, you know what? You think this is politically motivated? All right, I'm gonna turn the politics on you. Let's see how they if they vote you out. And it'd be kind of reasonable. Like, say if everyone in the Reddit communities votes, no, the moderators are right, they're doing a great thing. Steve Hoffman's in trouble, then the attention will shift to him. But he believes that they're going to go, you know what? I'm sick of these moderators. They're deciding what they want. They could that was another big part of the story too. When they were doing the strike, they were turning their servers private, so even their own members couldn't see. So you know what? If they decide, that could be what they decide. But
Yeah.
overall, I think that that's a pretty boss move to turn around and be like, all right, you know what? Let's turn it on you.